You're listening to Making Money Online with Lisa Johnson, the podcast that tells you what it really takes to build a business and the simple steps to get you there. I'm determined to share with you the reality of easy, simple business marketing tips to make passive income so that you can start making money online. I'm so excited to tell you about Well the brand, which is founded by my friend Nikki Gundy and Sean Lehman. Well is a female lifestyle brand, and it celebrates being active and living well in hoodies and sweats that make you look and feel great. And you know, I've started my leisure wear phase right now, so it's perfect for me. If you're looking for great fitting, affordable active wear, your next favorite sweatshirt, or accessories that help you live, move, and travel well, go check out Well the brand at www.wellthebrand.com. Hello, and welcome to the next episode of Making Money Online. We're talking to a man today. We don't do that very often on here, do we? We have lots of women that we talk to, but actually, I do work with quite a lot of male entrepreneurs as well. And I've had mentors that are male entrepreneurs. And I think we think in this industry that we have like the female circles, you know, there's all the women communities, and then there's bro marketers over there, and we're all a bit scared of them. And so it's, where is the middle ground? Well, I think our next guest is the middle ground. He's a serial entrepreneur, and he's also the author of How to Be Effing Happy. It's not called that. I just refuse to swear. But he will. So welcome to the podcast, Dan Meredith.
Thank you for the invite. After many, many months of us trying to organize this, we finally are opposite one another recording this podcast. Thank you.
And I got to see you twice in 2 days.
I know.
It happens.
It was a wonderful room. And obviously, considering our topics today, I think I was one of only two gentlemen in a room full of very successful ladies. And I think I conducted myself fairly well. It seems to be a very joyous evening. And yeah, congratulations on your success as well.
Thank you. And I think there is something to that, because there are a lot of rooms that I'm in that don't have many men in them. When I'm in America and I'm in the masterminds there, I'm sometimes one of only two women in the room who is making the kind of money that I'm making. And in the UK, it seems to be a lot of the times the other way around. And the men seem to kind of keep themselves to themselves. I've heard of, peer-led masterminds where the main men in the industry, of whom I know most of them, are in that kind of mastermind. There is no women kind of allowed in. And I think we see that a lot, but you seem to have straddled both sides. I can see his face. I wish you could see his face when I said that. If you know Dan Meredith, you will know what his face is doing. But yeah, you seem to have, you do have a lot of female clients, but you also are known and accepted by all of the more pro-marketing type of people as well. How do you manage it without being kind of in one camp or the other?
Well, I'm quite extroverted now. I was quite a gentle soul when I was younger. I was naturally more introverted, and I saw the extroverts having all of the money and the success and, wonderful wives and girlfriends. And I thought, well, I need to be like them. So I sort of modeled the extroverts and kind of I literally forced myself to be more extroverted. I had a very good but very challenging corporate career that was brutal, and they made me do a lot of things that were very uncomfortable, putting myself out there, networking, talking to people. At one point, it even got to the stage where because I got the job quite long, I've basically been shaving since I was 11. I've always looked older, never been ID'd. And they gave me this really prestigious job. They realized I was only 19 at the time. So they set me a challenge of going out every day, speaking to a stranger, getting an email address, and I had to email them. And if I got a bounce back, I was fired. Now, obviously, we know from a HR perspective that is not allowable nowadays. No. But I was 19. This was a, multi-six-figure opportunity. I was like, okay, off I go then. That's what I do. And I was forced out of my comfort zone. So I would say, I was very close to my family. My dad sadly passed away a few years ago, but me and my mum are really close. There's like my little sister, she's special needs. So I've had very good feminine energy in my life. And I think I was a naturally quieter, shyer boy. I was a little bit more timid. So I then threw myself into man shit. So I lift heavy weights. I go in boxing rings and fight. I ride motorbikes. I drive fast cars. I jump out of planes. I do man stuff. okay, as well. But one of the things, and I asked a few of my female clients this, why they chose me or why they wanted to work with me. And this is their verbiage, not mine. They said, I provide safe masculine energy and it's kind of like a big brother vibe. So I thought, well, that's kind of cool because I've always looked after my little sister. I've always looked out for her. And I think that's just who I am as a person. And for me as well, with the sort of straddling the sort of bro market aside, because I mean, you can't see me if you listen to a podcast. I'm 6 foot tall, 16 stone, got tattoos. I lift weights, bearded,
You're a big guy.
I'm a bigger guy. So I tend to sit on that one. And the thing is, which is quite funny, is a lot of people see, my book's got swear words in it. I'm quite direct. I'm comfortable with my opinions. And people have this perception of me, and then they meet me and they're like, oh, you're really nice. You're really friendly. And it's just kind of like, yeah, I'm not mean. I'm not horrible. I think just because I look maybe a little intimidating, I've actually made a conscious effort to soften that. And for me, I do think people need spaces to be able to talk about things specific to their own problems. But forgive the bluntness on this, but I don't care what's between your legs. I'm not bothered. I'm bothered about who you are as a person. What are your morals? What are your values? Do you want to work? Do you want to get shit done? Are you prepared to kind of push yourself and challenge yourself a little bit? That's what it is for me. Like, I don't care what your gender is, as long as we gel and we get on and you want to get shit done and do the work, then let's go.
And you seem to have those values, and you talk about those values a lot. You have the kind of values that I talk about in my business, which is actually quite rare in the more male side of the business, if we're honest about it. You have a lot of fun in business. I always see, like, you've got Coffee with Dan, and everyone has a bit of fun in there. It's a lot more relaxed than some of the other communities that I'm in. Has it always been that you've been having fun in business?
Always. My mentor, a friend of mine, a chap called Dex, I've known for a long time, online gentleman, we came up with a little term and it was FAP. Now, for those of you who don't know what that euphemism is, Google it at your own leisure. I once had 200 people with a t-shirt on which said, I heart FAP. Again, you can Google that in your own time and find out what that means if you don't know. But we had a literal...
I don't know what it means. Am I supposed to know? Am I not like cool
now?
The
fact that you don't is probably a good sign you don't spend too much time on meme sites. But we had this thing, and it was basically fun and profits. That was it. Okay. So I want to have fun and be profitable. I want my clients to have fun and be profitable. And if anything in that matrix doesn't work out, so if someone's making lots of money, but they're not happy, they're not having fun, well, that's a no for me. If someone pays me a lot of money, but they are... by no fault of their own, maybe draining or hard work, or we're just not a good personality match, I'd rather just leave it. And I've got to be honest with you, I probably could have earned a good few more millions if I had been a bit more bro marketer style, but it doesn't sit right with me. I go to bed every night knowing I've done a good job. I've never intentionally gone out my way to stitch anyone up or do anything wrong. It sits better with me. I want to have fun. I want to make money. I want the people I work with to do the same. That's it.
And I think actually the older you get, the less you care about the money anyway. And the more you care about that it is fun and that you are doing a good job and that you are actually impacting people, the money just comes with that.
That and peace. As I've got older, peace is fucking priceless. I don't need drama. I don't need bullshit. I see the online arguments and people, and I just look and I'm like, cool. I just stay out of it. I've got my opinions on things that might be different or controversial or not in alignment with certain groups or whatever. I just keep them to myself. My goal is to add value, with my content, my marketing, podcasts, work, whatever it is, add value to your life, whether it makes you smile, makes you think differently, helps you make money, improve something, makes you, happier. That's it.
I get the peace thing. I've definitely become like that over the last 10 years.
Good.
I was all right with the drama 10 years ago. I was like,
you're good at it. You're too smart with them thumbs you are. You've got too much brains, Lisa. Too intelligent.
And then I got a bit like, it's a lot of hassle. And also it takes your energy away from stuff that I actually want to do. And you don't realize how much energy it takes when there's drama going on. You think it's fun, but actually it's not fun. And I think that people are waking up to that and realizing it's not worth it. Saying that, I am opinionated, will always be opinionated, and I'm pretty much okay if people don't agree with me on things. I don't really believe that you can be cancelled as such. I feel like people like you and I have probably been tried to be cancelled many times. It doesn't work.
Yeah. We're still going.
Still
Like, good
going.
luck to you.
Yeah. And so, yeah, exactly that. So your book is quite
Mm,
different to your old book,
it
your first
is.
book, which was more about, the profit side, the money side, and the marketing side. And this one is about how to be happy.
Mm.
What made you write this book?
So I had a quite a challenging year in 2020. So COVID, we all had. So we all had to deal with that. I own a bricks and mortar business as well, so I had to make sure those people were safe. Then my dad, little sneak, he'd had cancer for a couple of years, kept it from me, and that came back. Then unfortunately, that took him in the summer. Then I had a really challenging relationship end in the sort of autumn. And then I remember saying to my mum, it was December the 9th, can't get much worse, mum. We're nearly there, nearly over. Then mum called me on that day. So my mum, obviously on her own now, my little sister, she's special needs, as I've mentioned, but she'd also previously broken her neck. Never been in a car accident. Mum gives me a call, and it's that point, don't know what your mum's like, or her, when you get the call, you're like, why you call? It's usually a message. Like, if you're
Yeah.
ringing, it's important. She, oh, don't want to worry you, son, but we've been in a car accident. So I ended my call, hopped on my motorbike, over I went, calmed my little sister down because her reasoning is not fantastic. She thought her head was going to come off, like because she literally her neck is fused after the neck break. So I calmed her down. We played some Uno, hopped on my bike, literally done this journey hundreds of times from one town to the next, driving along, and then I get hit by a car. And then I get to ring my mum up and say, Mum, you'll never guess what happened, which involved me then getting my hip replaced and all manner of things. It
Oh
was
my
just
God.
and when I was sat there, this was in the middle of COVID, I had to bribe the taxi driver to help me get upstairs. I lived on my own in an apartment. I was shredded clothing,
I
bloodied.
remember the picture.
Yeah. And I remember sat in the big chair, huge telly, expensive toys, nice watch on my wrist, all that kind of stuff. And I thought, and this is fucking awesome, isn't it? So my first book was called How to Be Fucking Awesome, and I thought this is not the life I want. So then I sort of thought, okay, well, you can either piss and moan about it, and I did have 24 hours of a pity party, and then I subsequently wanted to make myself happier first, but also others. Lots of my clients are very, very successful, very, very wealthy individuals. A lot of them aren't happy, aren't fulfilled, missing things.
I
So
see that a lot.
yeah, and I found when I helped my clients grow their businesses and make lots of money, that was good because that's what they hired me for. But what I realized is if I helped them be happier and more connected and healthier and more fulfilled first, that bit was really easy because then I had this wholer human being who was full of joy and energy and was actually enjoying life again and had a lust for life, and they wanted to grow the business, not just like, oh, let's just do
It's
this because
easier.
that's what I do. Yeah,
Because I mean, in the early days, I realized really quickly that half of the time, the reason that their businesses, my clients' businesses weren't working is because of something personal. It was nothing
always.
to do with the business. So I actually qualified as a life coach under Tony Robbins just so that I would know how to deal with that because I was like, I just want you to make your business work. And they're like, yeah, but I'm going through a divorce. I'm
Yeah.
like, so I
My
qualified to help with that.
my favorite phrase that I often say to people is you can't shoot a rocket from a rowing boat. So I'm like, if your sleep is screwed, if your relationship is going south, if you're unhappy, if you're lacking connection, if you're not eating well, if you're unhealthy, I'm not judging you. We all go through periods where things aren't great. And sometimes some things are working great and other things you have to kind of put on the back burner on maintenance. But if the human being is not in a good place, all I'm doing is stacking more and more weight onto an unstable foundation. So if you want this great business, this great life, this online or offline business, you want this freedom, this fun, this money, we got to make sure the human beings kind of sorted as well. So often what I do with a lot of my clients now is it's kind of like I treat them a lot like, you have to like give a dog some medicine. So I put the medicine wrapped in a bit of ham. So I'll give them the businessy bits and here's some quick wins and we can make some money doing this and here's some stuff. But I'm also making sure we're getting their schedule sorted, their productivity sorted. We're reconnecting with people. We're getting hobbies back in again. We're putting boundaries and actually telling people, no, these behaviors aren't acceptable. And we actually need to put ourselves first. And, the old cheesy adage, you cannot pour from an empty cup. So
You
my goal
can't.
is fill your cup up first. And then you also, A, you can help more people. But B, when shit happens, because it always does, if your tanks are full, you can just handle it. Like I have stress all the time. It just, honestly, it's like water off a duck's back
Yeah,
now
me
because I'm
too.
I'm feel good.
Yeah. I feel like one of the things you said about, go and connect with people
Hmm.
and have hobbies come back. When you are a business owner, those things kind of disappear. You connect with people, but on a very transactional level a lot of the time. So, there are people around you, but they're around you because of the things that you might be able to offer.
Hmm.
And hobby, like I used to love acting and I'd do all different kinds of things. And now I don't do any of those. And we realized last year that connection and doing things that are nothing to do with making money are actually the most important things that we do. And it changes your whole outlook. And there's been a study that shows that people that are depressed, like clinically depressed, if they just meet one person just for a chat, nothing to do with like their work or anything, every day for half an hour, there's like an 80% improval rate of their condition. And I can totally see why that happens. I think we spend so much time at work that we forget to
Hmm.
live. And it was about a year and a half ago that I decided I wasn't going to do that anymore. And I was going to spend time with the people I actually wanted to spend time with and do things that I actually love. And it's so different. My life is so different. And nothing really has changed money wise or finance
Yeah,
wise.
you feel
It just
better.
means that I feel different doing
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
And especially because obviously I know a lot of your audience are online business owners. Like I've been in, I've run gyms, I've run corporate offices, I've run sales teams, I've run businesses, I've been right hand man to some big stuff. And I've always been around people. They say we're all people, but I'm a naturally people person. I like being around human beings. And then I've got this freedom and I can work anywhere and I just need a mobile phone. And then I thought, fuck me, I'm lonely. And I'm like, I've got all these friends that honestly I could connect with and chat to and reach out to. But I was like, I remember one day I thought, I haven't seen anyone for like 4 days. I was like, I haven't actually seen it. And I thought, no, I'm not doing this. And I said, even if it impacts my business or loses me, I'm making a commitment to connection. And this year specifically, I mean, I was in a really good place last year, but this year I had twofold. I was going to make sure, and listen, for any of you who are saying, oh, it's easy for you, it's not. We've all got our own problems and stuff.
Yeah.
If you are not connecting with people, you have to be the one to do it. I am the ringleader in my group. I put groups of
No.
friends together. I arrange stuff. I'm like, let's go for beers. Let's go for coffee. I don't drink alcohol, but let's go out. Let's do something. I'm the ringleader in that. And if you are lonely and you're not having connections, you have to be the person to go out and do it. I've started up hobbies that I used to as a kid. I'm an absolute Warhammer geek. I was telling you about it last night as well. Absolutely love it. I'm now going once a week to a games club to move little miniatures around a board and roll dice. And I love it. There's just no one knows who I am. You know what I say to people? I'm in marketing. Immediately, no one gives a shit. No one wants
Yeah.
to talk. I'm in marketing. Don't tell them anything about what I do. Just in marketing. And I've made that was my personal one. And the other thing was like your event last night that I went to. My little sister had surgery yesterday. I am stretched past thin at the moment. It was an opportunity to come and see you. I literally left Bristol, came, I had an hour and three quarters with you, had a lovely dinner, met everyone, had to get back on the train, got in at half midnight, started again at 7 today. So any opportunity I get to go to an event, to connect with my peers, to go have some fun, go to a mastermind, I'm there. And this year and you know what? I feel great. Literally, the more people I meet, and this is it, the more people I meet, more conversations I have, more opportunities that present themselves. And honestly, just the happier I am. Like every
Yeah.
day's fun.
I totally get that. It's definitely been a different way of thinking for me of like actually being around people and not always it needing to be for business. Like
Yeah.
it can just be for fun. I love your book.
Thank you.
It's kind of, I teach the same things now on stage about fulfillment because that's more important than
Mm.
anything else that comes with it. And it makes, I think people don't talk about some of the things like the loneliness and things like that enough. And so it really affects people thinking they're on their own and they're not. We all feel the same things in business. It doesn't really matter what level you're at. We're all going through the same shit most of
Yeah.
the time. So I would recommend you all go out and buy it. How to
Thank you.
Be Effing Happy. It's on Amazon. Go buy it. I've got a signed copy because I'm special.
You are indeed, Lisa.
If somebody was to say to you that there's lots of areas of my life that I'm not sure are right, and I feel a bit like overwhelmed with how much I need to change to get happy, what's your advice there?
Okay, simple. Okay, first thing I would focus on, which might seem a little bit random, is sleep. So I found if your sleep is screwed, it impacts everything, your decision making, your choices, your happiness. So the first thing I'd always say is let's just get the sleep sorted. Okay. And I say this in the book. If you are struggling for money and money is tight and you need the money, then go after the money and understand that you're going to go through a period of time where it's just going to suck.
Yeah.
It's going to suck. You're going to have, and again, this sounds counterintuitive to what I said, you are going to have less time with others, maybe less time with your family, less time doing things with your kids, less hobbies, whatever. But if you need money, go after the money. Okay, make that happen, because then when you get it, you can then use that money smartly to buy back your time. Okay, but I'd say, those are the first two bits I would say. And my favorite thing is an analogy. If I was in front of you right now, and forgive it, it's from Fight Club. I like it. It's the scene where Brad Pitt, he goes into like a convenience store and he sees a young lad reading a book and pulls him over the counter and sticks a gun to his head. And he said, what is that book called? Basically, I think he was training to be a veterinarian. And he said, he took his ID and he said, I'm going to come back in a year. If you aren't on your way to being a veterinarian, I'm going to shoot you. So it's from a film, it's not real life. So I often, me and a few of my clients, we do gun to the head January. And it's amazing. So we basically pretend, okay, look at all our problems, all the areas that things go. What is the one biggest one, the bleeding neck problem that if I solve that first, it's going to trickle down. I'm just going to trickle into everything else, but we're just going to focus on one thing. And we do gun to the head January. We all pick a thing and we all say, right, we're going to solve it. And we aggressively solve that one thing. And then once we've solved that thing, we go on to the next thing. And that's it. It's literally biggest problem first. Everything else, excuse my language, fuck it, that can wait. I'm going to solve that first and then I'll go on to the next one.
And you almost have to be a little bit obsessed with solving the issue.
Yeah.
You can't half-heartedly go, okay, we'll try and make this work. You have to just be obsessed with it and single-mindedly do it. And I've found that with everything, whether it's money or health or relationships, you have to be so focused on just sorting it out. Yeah. And most people aren't.
I've got a really simple, it's in the book, but I'll share it anyway. It's a really simple, instead of thinking, oh, okay, so this is going wrong. Okay. So I get people to list out all their problems. So we list out all the problems and I call it my red book, black book exercise. So the black book is a list of all the problems. And then in the red book, you write those problems out again in a different way. And you go, how do I solve the problem of X? And when you immediately switch to how do I solve the problem of, you make a list. And I say to people, do this for everything. And the goal is you're not allowed to leave until you got at least 3 for each one. Then you go through them and you cross out the ones which aren't really that problem, aren't that pressing and urgent. But now you've got a to-do list. And so you look through, you've got to be objective. And again, thinking like, shit, I've got no money. I don't know what to do. How am I going to pay my bills? Okay, cool. That's a terrible place to be. How do I solve the problem of needing to get £2,000 within the next 4 weeks, for example? And then your brain flips into problem solving mode and you can come up with ideas. It's a beautiful, it's so simple, but people overlook the simple stuff. And like a lot of, I wouldn't say flack, but a lot of my stuff is actually really simple advice. It is simple stuff. But in our world, people often overcomplicate it and it's our magical system or it's this structure or this hidden secret. Shut up. No, it isn't. It's pretty much simple stuff repeated daily.
It is that. I always say business isn't complicated. People make it complicated.
They do.
Complicated. Amazing. If someone needs your help right now, where is the best place for them to find you?
Just shoot me a message on social media or email. So I'm at The Real Dan Meredith on Instagram, Dan Meredith on Facebook, dan@coffeewithdan.com. If you want to send me an email, this is my own personal choice. Is it productive? No. If you message me, you get me. No one has access to my inboxes. It's just Dan. So if I can help you, great. If not, welcome to feedback on this. And equally, if you think, oh my God, I do not want to be like this guy, then I've done my work too, because I've given you something you don't want to do, which is be like Dan. So it's awesome.
Amazing. We'll put all of those links into the show notes. Thank you for being here today and talking to us on the podcast and for your wisdom in the book. And thank you, everybody, for listening. I will join you next week for a very special episode of Making Money Online. Thank you for listening to Making Money Online with Lisa Johnson. If you'd like to get hold of my guide to launching, go to lisajohnson.com/launch and let's get you making money online.